What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video, I am going to be... It's a little bit late. This next video is a little bit late. But regardless, I am going to talk about the April movies. The big movies that came out in the month of April. To be honest, there was not a whole lot that came out in April that really interested me particularly. That being said, April was a furious month. For sure. The movie that dominated this month was Fast and Furious 7. I mean, Furious 7, on a $190 million budget, it made $1.429 billion, and it's still going in theaters right now. It's not, not nearly bringing in as much money per weekend as it once did, but it keeps going. It is already the fourth highest grossing film of all time, and that's behind the Avengers, that's behind Titanic, and that's behind Avatar. Furious 7 came out April 3rd, and it was significant, obviously, because of the death of Paul Walker. This was his final film appearance, and I've heard that the movie really honors him pretty well. The ending is a pretty nice tribute to him. That being said, I wanted to see this movie. This was the one movie that I wanted to see this month. Didn't get to do it yet. Maybe... I hope I get to see it in a couple of weeks. Something like that. I hope so. I mean... The best thing I can do if I don't see it in theaters is just wait for it to come out on DVD. But yeah, Furious 7 is, a lot of the people from the original, Vin Diesel returns, Paul Walker, Dwayne Johnson, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, and some new characters, Jason Statham, Kurt Russell, and a few other people as well. Furious 7 made the money, and it did very well critically. Critically, it received a 82% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So it got good critical rating as well as a very good showing at the box office. Simply put, this movie made money. And we already are going to have a Furious 8. That's coming out, I think, a couple of years, 2017, if I'm not mistaken. The next movie I'm going to highlight here is a movie called Woman in Gold. It's an interesting film. It has two big stars, Helen Mirren, who is a big British star, British actress in her own right, and Ryan Reynolds, who's a good actor, a good comedic actor, but also can do some dramatic roles as well. Anyway, Woman in Gold is about this lawyer played by Reynolds who has to defend this woman played by Mirren whose painting she's trying to reclaim this painting, this rare, very significant painting that she has. She's trying to reclaim it. The lawyer is trying to... They sue the German government or something like that, a government of Austria. So it's kind of a biopic, sort of period piece. It's sort of a period piece film. Anyway, that came out April 1st in the U.S. And I mean, it did pretty good for that type of film. I mean, $11 million budget, $29.7 million. The studio was probably pretty happy about that total, because it wasn't, I don't think it was expected to be a big-time film. and it has a rating of 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's okay. It's not that great, though. Not that great of a review. But that's just one that I was looking at that is kind of significant for the month. The next one I'm going to talk about is The Longest Ride. The only reason I mention this film, actually there's a couple reasons. One, it's based on a Nicholas Sparks novel. And for those of you who know about the Nicholas Sparks, he's a writer, an author, and a lot of his books have transitioned into movies. The classic one is The Notebook. I believe that has Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams in it. The other big thing is that Scott Eastwood is in this film, and he is the son of Clint Eastwood, the very famous actor. It also has Alan Alda, most famous for the TV show MASH, way back in the day. Britt Robertson, who I think looks a lot like Renee Zellweger, a young Renee Zellweger. But yeah, this film is based on a Nicholas Sparks book. Budget of $34 million. It made over $45 million. So, not extremely great. And it has a review of 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, so not a very good review. And there's been a lot of negative reaction to Nicholas Sparks films. I think I've heard that they're kind of cliched and things like that. But I just wanted to mention it because of those couple things. Another big one, the second biggest movie behind Furious 7 is Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. The sequel to Paul Blart Mall Cop. That came out April 17th. Kevin James reprises his role from the first film. Not a whole lot of big-time names in this film. Neil McDonough. Just not a huge amount of actors and actresses. In terms of names, not a big movie with that type of, not a lot of big cast members besides Kevin James, literally and figuratively. But yeah, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is basically, those movies are basically Kevin James, who is a large man, riding on a Segway. That's pretty much what it is. And it's like, I don't know, a parody of Die Hard, kind of. The first one was kind of a parody of Die Hard. The first one was okay. I didn't mind the first one at all. I wasn't really that interested in seeing Mall Cop 2. And there's a reason. It made on a budget of $30 million, it made $75.7 million. So it made some money. Not nearly as much as the first film. And critically, 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. A very bad sequel. A very bad sequel to the first film. The first film wasn't much better. I think it was in the 30s in terms of percentage. But this film just was not good. And it was a big dud of April. One I also want to mention is a movie, True Story. And I mention this because Jonah Hill and James Franco are in this film. And it's not a comedy. It's a mystery drama film. It came out April 17th. And it's based on a true story. It's based on a true story. It's a drama. And it's surprising. Both guys have delved into drama. Jonah Hill did famously with Moneyball, and You could even kind of say Wolf of Wall Street. James Franco's delved into drama. I mean, the guy has like a million different projects coming up and all that, and a lot of them are dramatic roles and things like that. I think James Franco, if I'm not mistaken, he has an Academy Award for a movie he did. But I just wanted to mention this movie because of the 2 stars. And it's very uneven. The rating on Rotten Tomatoes is 50%. And box office wise, it's made $4.4 million. It's not. It wasn't made to be a blockbuster. It was made to be a very independent film, and I'm thinking the studio likes the results of the movie and what it's done so far. Anyway, the last one I kind of want to mention. Actually, there's 2 more I want to mention here. Another Kevin James film, a film called Little Boy. It came out April 24th, and it co-stars Kevin James in the film. Emily Watson, Tom Wilkinson is in the movie. This unknown guy playing a kid in the film. Box budget-wise, it's on a $20 million budget, and box office-wise, it made $4.2 million. This is kind of a war comedy drama film, so it's kind of a blend. And it's an unusual role kind of for Kevin James, as opposed to Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, where he's a fat guy. He's a fat guy on a Segway. This is like this is a dramatic role for him. Let's see here. But this film does not have a good rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 17%. Not very good at all. So I just wanted to mention the film because Kevin James is in it. And then the last film that I'm going to talk about for the month of April is The Age of Adeline. This is an interesting film. This is a film where the lead character is Blake Lively. You may know her from, I think she was on the show Gossip Girl, if I'm not mistaken, yes. And she's been in some movies, and she is the wife of Ryan Reynolds. So she has her own movie. This is a movie about, her character is a woman who doesn't age. She has the ability to not age a day at all. And it's an interesting story, definitely. And this movie also has Harrison Ford in it, in a supporting role. Ellen Burstyn, who is a older actress, she's in the movie. So this film was released April 24th. It's still going in theaters. So far, on a budget of $25 million, it's made $26 million. It'll make more, definitely, as the weeks go by. And as far as critical reviews of this film, 54%, so it's very uneven, kind of. It's not a passing grade at all, but it's good. I mean, it's a solid enough review for Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, I just wanted to mention this one because I'd heard about it, and some big stars in the film. Harrison Ford, obviously, the biggest star in the film, but he's not the main guy. He is not the main guy in this one. So overall, April was pretty uneven. There were some films that came out this month that were somewhat successful, but the biggest movie of this month, let's not be mistaken about it, Furious 7 just dominated April. There was no competition, basically. The biggest one was from Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, and you heard my Rotten Tomatoes rating about it. It was a horrible movie, according to Rotten Tomatoes. So, I mean, these movies just pale in comparison, money-wise, to the big-time success of Furious 7. And a lot of people are saying this is the start of blockbuster year. And I know it's the start of... I know it's a little bit into May that I'm doing the reviews. You know, the kind of the review of April. I can't talk about Avengers Age of Ultron yet. It actually came out first, April 22nd, but it came out May 1st in the US, so I can't talk about that. I want to go see the movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to see the film. But April, you could almost say Furious 7 was the first blockbuster movie of this year. You can honestly say that. And it's definitely going to be the start of something big. For sure. It is the first big-time blockbuster film. And the Avengers Age of Ultron is going to follow that. Let's just say that. But at the end of May, I'm going to be talking about that movie in particular. And the other movies that come out in May. So that is it for my review of the big movies, little movies in April. D-Rock 1992 out.